$400. That is what a Colt Python could sell for back in 1990. Today, the right one can bring $11,500 at auction. Same gun family, same American steel, completely different money. And here is the part that hurts. Somebody's dad sold one of these for grocery money. Somebody's grandfather traded one for a used lawnmower. Somebody's uncle let one go at a pawn shop and thought he made a good deal. Today, those same revolvers are paying for trucks, paying off credit cards, and in some cases, selling for more than a brand new car. But the Python is not even number one, not even close, because there are 10 American wheel guns sitting in safes, closets, nightstands, tackle boxes, and estate collections right now that collectors are hunting hard. Some look ordinary, some look worn, some were carried by cops, hunters, and grandfathers who never thought of them as investments. But the right markings can change everything. 3 screws, a vented rib, a Monson address, a pinned barrel, a recessed cylinder, 3 little letters stamped inside a yoke. REG. Those tiny details can be the difference between a $500 revolver and a $38,000 collector piece. So before you sell Granddad's old Smith, before you trade that Colt, before you let some guy at a gun show tell you it is just an old revolver, watch this list. Because number 10 is already climbing. Number 5 is being pulled out of old police estates every month. And number 1 is the kind of gun most dealers will never hold in their lifetime. Let's start with the revolver Ruger owners accidentally destroyed by the thousands. Number 10. Ruger Old Model Blackhawk, 3 screw. The Ruger Old Model Blackhawk is one of those revolvers that old school shooters remember clearly. But a lot of younger collectors are just now starting to understand. The Old Model Blackhawk line began in 1955, and the classic 3-screw guns are most closely associated with the 1962 to 1972 production era. Here is the story most gun owners do not know. In 1973, Ruger redesigned the Blackhawk and added a transfer bar safety system. After that, many old model Blackhawks that went back to Ruger for service were converted under the factory safety program. Original parts came out, modern safety parts went in, and from a collector standpoint, that gun was permanently changed. Ruger even offered that conversion for free, so tens of thousands of gun owners mailed their original revolvers back. They got modified guns returned to them, and most of them had no idea they had just cut the collector value way down. An unconverted original 3-screw Blackhawk in good condition was selling for around $250 in the early 1980s. Today, an unconverted example in original condition can bring $1,500 to $2,500. Pristine examples with the original box and paperwork can push $3,500. Here is the identifying mark. Look at the right side of the frame. If you see 3 screws holding the frame together, you are looking at the original style action. If you see 2 screws, that revolver has been converted or it is a later design. And from a collector's standpoint, that usually means a smaller piece of the value. If you have an original 3-screw Blackhawk that was never sent back for conversion, do not treat it like a parts gun. Do not modify a collector-grade example without talking to a qualified gunsmith and a serious collector first. That price has been climbing year after year. And if you think the 3-screw Blackhawk is the most overlooked revolver on this list, wait until number 9. Because this next one is a Colt that most gun owners have never even held. And it is climbing hard in the collector market. Number 9. Colt Diamondback, 22 long rifle. The Colt Diamondback chambered in 22 long rifle. This is the small frame python that a lot of collectors ignored for years, and the smart money has been quietly buying. The Diamondback was introduced in 1966 and produced into the late 1980s. It was built on Colt's D frame. That is the same frame family as the Detective Special. But the fit, the finish, and the action were tuned to a much higher standard. The bluing on a Diamondback has that deep Colt look that made the Python famous. The trigger has that smooth, hand-tuned Colt feel. It is not just another small revolver. It is a Python-style Colt in miniature. And the .22 long rifle version is especially desirable because Colt made far fewer of them than the market wants today. For decades, the Diamondback was the forgotten Colt. Collectors chased pythons. They walked right past the little brother. Back in 1990, you could buy a Diamondback in excellent condition for around $300. By 2015, that same kind of revolver was often selling around $1,200. Today, minty Diamondbacks with original boxes can bring around $2,500 or more. Condition matters. Barrel length matters. Finish matters. Box and papers matter. But the trend is real. Here is the identifying mark. Colt Diamondbacks have the venting on top of the barrel rib milled in the same general style as a Python. Just smaller. If your father or grandfather has a small Colt in .22 long rifle with a vented rib and a deep blue finish, pay attention. That may be exactly what you are looking at. The smart collectors started watching these years ago. The general public still has not fully caught on. When they do, the price could move again. Do not sell yours casually. Number 8. The Dan Wesson Model 15. Chambered in .357 Magnum. This is the American-made revolver with a feature no other production wheel gun on this list can really match. Interchangeable barrels. Dan Wesson Firearms was founded in 1968 by Dan Wesson. He was the great-grandson of D.B. Wesson, one of the original co-founders of Smith & Wesson. The Model 15 was their flagship, and the pistol pack concept was the big innovation. You could swap barrels with a simple wrench, short barrel for carry, medium barrel for general use, long barrel for hunting or silhouette competition, one revolver, multiple setups. And back in the 1970s and 1980s, the accuracy of the Dan Wesson Model 15 was no secret. Hunter pistol silhouette shooters knew these guns could shoot. A lot of serious competitors chose the Model 15 over Smith & Wesson and Colt because the barrel system was extremely consistent. The barrel threaded into the frame. Then it was tensioned with a barrel nut. That setup helped reduce the alignment issues that can show up in other revolver designs. The original Monson. Massachusetts era effectively ended around 1990, and those Monson-marked guns are now a fixed collector supply. No more Monson-built Model 15s are being made. That is exactly why collectors care. In the early 1990s, a Model 15 pistol pack set could be bought for around $500. Today, a complete original Monson pistol pack with all barrels, tools, paperwork, and the original case can bring serious money. $2,500 to $4,000 is possible for the right complete set. Condition drives the number, completeness drives the number, and Monson markings matter. Here is the identifying mark. Dan Wesson Model 15s, built in Monson, have the Monson address stamped on the barrel shroud. If yours says Monson, Massachusetts, you own the version collectors are looking for. Do not sell it casually. Quick question before we move on. Do you own any Dan Wesson or Colt revolvers right now? Drop the model in the comments. I read every single one. And if you are still with us, the next 5 revolvers on this list are where the serious collector money starts showing up. Number 5 is a Colt that New York Police Department detectives carried for decades. And the right examples have moved hard in the last 10 years. Number 7. The Smith & Wesson Model 19, the Combat Magnum. This is the revolver tied closely to legendary Border Patrolman Bill Jordan. Jordan helped push the idea of a lighter K-frame .357 Magnum duty revolver in the 1950s. The concept was simple. Take the power of the .357 Magnum, put it in a medium K-frame, give it a 4-inch barrel, make it something an agent or officer could carry all day. Smith & Wesson built it, the FBI adopted it. Then police departments across America adopted it. The Model 19 became one of the most respected duty revolvers in American law enforcement. Production ran from 1957 to 1999. The revolvers built before 1982 have features collectors really care about. Pinned barrels, recessed cylinders. Those features were later eliminated as production methods changed. The revolvers built before 2001 also have the original frame design without the internal lock. Collectors call those the pre-lock guns. In 1990, you could buy a 4-inch pre-lock Model 19 for around $250. By 2010, that same kind of revolver was often selling around $600. Today, a pre-lock Model 19 with pinned and recessed features in excellent condition can bring $1,200 to $2,200, sometimes more, depending on condition, box, papers, dash number, and configuration. Here is the identifying mark. Look at the underside of the barrel near the frame. If you see a small pin going through the barrel into the frame, that is a pinned barrel. Then open the cylinder. Look at the back of the cylinder. If the cartridge case heads sit recessed into the cylinder face instead of sitting flush, that is a recessed cylinder. Pinned and recessed means pre-1982. Pre-1982 means collector interest. If you have a Combat Magnum from your father or grandfather sitting in a safe, do not sell it casually. Get it identified first. Number 6. The Ruger Bearcat, the original old model. This little revolver has more collector interest than a lot of people realize. The first issue Bearcat was produced from 1958 to 1971. The second issue, often associated with the Super Bearcat period, continued into the 1970s. The Bearcat was Ruger's smallest single-action revolver, a .22 long rifle, 6-shooter built on a scaled-down frame. It had a non-fluted cylinder with engraved scrollwork. It was marketed as a packing gun for hunters, fishermen, and trappers. And just like the Black Hawk III screw we talked about earlier, the early Bearcats are the ones collectors watch closely. Here is what most gun owners miss. The early Bearcat had an aluminum alloy grip frame. It also had a unique trigger guard design. Ruger later changed the design and brought back the new Bearcat in 1993 with the transfer bar system. A special 50th anniversary model appeared in 2008, but those later guns are not the same as the early old model Bearcats. Different action, different era, different collector value. In 1985, an early old model Bearcat in good condition was a $150 gun. Today, an original old model Bearcat in excellent condition with the original box can bring $900 to $1,400. Pristine examples with original holster, paperwork, and strong collector condition have crossed $2,000 at auction. Here is the identifying mark. The original Bearcat has a non-fluted cylinder with engraved scrollwork showing a bear and a mountain lion. The cylinder will be plain blued with no flutes. Reissue Bearcats are different. If you see that engraved cylinder with no flutes, you may be looking at the early collector gun. The fathers and grandfathers who carried these in fishing tackle boxes for 40 years had no idea what they were sitting on. Their grandsons are starting to find out. Number 5. The Colt Detective Special. Specifically, the examples built before 1972. This is the snub-nosed six-shot revolver that helped define American law enforcement for half a century. The Detective Special entered production in 1927. New York Police Department detectives carried it. FBI agents carried it. Chicago police carried it. Los Angeles detectives carried it. For 50 years, the Detective Special was one of the most recognized plainclothes police guns in the United States. The revolvers built before 1972 are what many collectors focus on. These guns have the earlier frame profile. They have the Colt blued finish people still talk about. And they have the older hand-fitted action feel that started disappearing as Colt modernized production in the early 1970s. The pre-72 Detective Specials are mechanically and aesthetically different from later production guns. In 1990, a pre-72 Detective Special in good condition sold for around $300. By 2010, that same kind of revolver was often bringing around $650. Today, original blued pre-72 examples in excellent condition can sell in the $1,300 to $2,200 range. Nickel-plated examples can bring significantly more. Again, condition matters. Box and papers matter. Police provenance matters. Here is the identifying mark. Look at the cylinder release. Pre-72 Detective Specials have a checkered, hand-fit cylinder release with an earlier profile. The bluing has that deep Colt character collectors look for. Post-72 examples have a different look and feel in person. If your father or grandfather was in law enforcement and left behind a snub-nosed Colt, do not sell it at a garage sale. Get it appraised first. There is a real chance it is worth far more than the average buyer would offer. Before we move on, imagine selling your grandfather's snub-nosed Colt for $200 at a garage sale. Then finding out later it was worth $2,000. That happens at estate sales across America every single weekend. The next revolver on this list is the gun Dirty Harry made famous, and the right pre-lock examples are climbing fast. Number 4, Smith & Wesson Model 29, 44 Magnum. The Smith & Wesson Model 29, chambered in .44 Magnum. This is the most famous revolver in cinematic history. The gun forever tied to Clint Eastwood and Dirty Harry in 1971. When that movie hit, Smith & Wesson could not keep up with demand. Every American man wanted a Model 29. Dealers were taking deposits on guns that would not be delivered for months. In some cases, buyers waited more than a year. The Model 29 was originally introduced in 1956 as the world's most powerful production handgun. It was hand-fitted on Smith & Wesson's large N frame, pinned barrel, recessed cylinder, high Polish blue finish. This was Smith & Wesson showing off what they could do. The pre-1982 examples have the collector features people want: pin, recessed, and that deep original blued finish. The pre-lock examples, built before 2001, are the guns collectors are hunting now. In 1995, a 6.5-inch pre-lock Model 29 could sell for around $450. Today, a pinned and recessed pre-lock Model 29 in excellent condition can bring $1,400 to $2,500. The 6.5-inch guns carry the strongest Dirty Harry connection. The 8 3/8-inch examples also draw collector interest, especially in high condition. Here is the identifying mark. Same idea as the Model 19. Look for the pin in the barrel. Look for the recessed cylinder face. Then look on the right side of the frame above the cylinder release. No internal lock hole means pre-2001. That is the revolver collector's want. This is the gun every American boy wanted in 1971. The boys who grew up and bought one are now sitting on serious collector value. Do not sell it casually. Number 3. The Freedom Arms Model 83, chambered in .454 Castle. This is one of the lowest production revolvers on this list, and it is one most American gun owners have never held in their hands. Freedom Arms is a small operation in Freedom, Wyoming. They have been hand-building single-action revolvers since the early 1980s. Every Freedom Arms revolver is hand-fit, hand-polished, and individually tested. Freedom Arms builds in small numbers compared with the major American revolver makers. That scarcity is part of the appeal. The Model 83 is their premium-grade revolver. It is built with an extremely tight cylinder-to-barrel gap. We are talking precision that feels more like a custom bench rest rifle mindset than a typical production handgun. The .454 Castle cartridge was developed by Dick Castle in the 1950s. It generates serious power from a revolver. More than 2,000 foot-pounds of muzzle energy in the right loadings. It is a cartridge serious handgun hunters have used on large and dangerous game. A new Freedom Arms Model 83 generally starts in the mid-$3,000 range before options. Used examples in excellent condition can sell for $2,500 to $4,500, depending on configuration. Premium grade and field grade variations matter. Options matter. Barrel length matters. Condition matters. And collector demand is not going away. Here is the identifying mark. Freedom Arms revolvers have the Freedom, Wyoming address engraved on the barrel. The grip frame is one solid piece of stainless steel, and the profile is different from other production revolvers in America. If you see Freedom, Wyoming on the barrel of a single-action revolver, you may own one of the rarest production revolvers ever made on American soil. Number 2. The Colt Python. Original mainline production from 1955 until Colt announced discontinuation in 1999. Limited custom shop production continued into the early 2000s. But when collectors talk about the original Python, this is the era they mean. The Python is the most coveted American double-action revolver ever produced. It was Colt's flagship. The royal blue finish was so deep it looked black under most lighting. The ventilated barrel rib was unmistakable, and the hand-fitted action has become legendary. Each Python was hand-tuned by skilled workers at the Hartford factory. The trigger pull was set by feel, not just by measurement. The cylinder timing was hand-adjusted for precise lockup. For decades, the Python was the premium production revolver in America. Police officers saved for one. Doctors and lawyers bought them. Collectors built entire safes around them. Then Colt stopped regular production. The fitting was expensive. The old production methods were hard to maintain. The craftsmen who knew how to build them were retiring, and the old Python became a fixed supply. In 1990, a 6-inch blued Colt Python could sell new for around $500. By 2005, that same kind of revolver was bringing around $1,500. By 2015, $3,000 was not unusual. Today, excellent condition original Pythons can bring $8,000 to $12,000. Special examples can go much higher. Royal blue guns with original box, paperwork, and unfired condition can cross $20,000 at major auctions. Here is the identifying mark. The original Python has the rampant Colt logo on the side plate, and the word Python engraved on the barrel rib. The action should feel incredibly smooth. The trigger break should feel clean and precise. The reintroduced Python, released by Colt in 2020, is a different gun, modern stainless construction, modern manufacturing, modern internal design, a good revolver in its own right, but not the same animal as the original collector guns. The original guns are the ones with the appreciation curve. If you inherited an original Python, do not sell it casually. Get it identified. Get it appraised. And understand what you have. The number one revolver on this list is the only American revolver that has appreciated in a way that can stand beside the original Python. And it has been doing it for nearly 90 years. Number 1. The Smith & Wesson Registered Magnum, chambered in .357 Magnum. This is the holy grail of American revolver collecting, the first .357 Magnum revolver, and one of the most valuable production revolvers in American history. The story begins in 1935. Smith & Wesson, working with cartridge developer Phil Sharp and FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover, introduced the .357 Magnum cartridge. Then they built a revolver to fire it. But this was not just a normal mass-produced gun. Every registered Magnum was custom-built to the buyer's specifications. The buyer chose the barrel length, the sights, the grip style, the finish, even the action tune. Each revolver was assigned a unique registration number, and the buyer received registration paperwork from Smith & Wesson. Production ran from 1935 to 1939. Only approximately 5,500 registered Magnums were built. As the Second World War approached, Smith & Wesson stopped the custom registration program. They never resumed it. Every registered Magnum that exists today comes from that short pre-war production window. The buyer list reads like an American history book. J. Edgar Hoover owned one. General George Patton owned one, and he famously referred to it as his killing gun. The first one off the production line, registration number 1, was personally presented to Hoover. Police chiefs, military officers, federal agents, and wealthy collectors waited months for delivery. Here is the appreciation curve. In 1985, a Smith & Wesson registered Magnum in good condition could be purchased for around $2,500. By 2010, that same kind of revolver was selling around $8,000. Today, strong examples with documents can bring $18,000 to $38,000 or more. And historically important guns can go far higher. It would not be surprising if Patton's actual revolver brought 6 figures if it ever came to market. General George Patton's registered Magnum is currently displayed at the General George Patton Museum. Here is the identifying mark. Every authentic registered Magnum has a unique registration number stamped on the inside of the yoke when the cylinder is opened. The number begins with the letters REG. If you open the cylinder of a pre-war Smith & Wesson .357 Magnum and see a registration number stamped REG followed by digits, you may be holding one of the most valuable production revolvers ever made on American soil. Most gun owners have never seen one. Most dealers have never held one. The few that surface at auction every year sell to a small circle of serious collectors who already know exactly what they are. If you inherited an old Smith & Wesson from a grandfather who served in World War II, open the cylinder. Look at the yoke. The letters REG could be the difference between a few $1,000s and a small fortune. Do not sell it casually. Get it authenticated first. That is the list. 10 American revolvers that have been climbing hard in the collector market. The Ruger Old Model Black Hawk 3 Screw, the Colt Diamondback, the Dan Wesson Model 15, the Smith & Wesson Combat Magnum, the Ruger Bearcat, the Colt Detective Special, the Smith & Wesson Model 29, the Freedom Arms Model 83, the Colt Python, and the Smith & Wesson Registered Magnum. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these revolvers is sitting in your safe right now? Drop the number in the comments, and if you ever sold one of these, tell us the regret story. I read every single comment. If this list helped you, hit subscribe. Next week, I am breaking down the 10 lever-action rifles that are quietly becoming priceless, including one Winchester that recently broke a major auction record. You do not want to miss it. Stay sharp, hold on to your guns, and never sell what is climbing.